everyone. Today we're going to be making a fun and easy sheet pan supper. I've got a pound of Italian sausage links here on a greased sheet pan, and I also have an acorn squash, a medium-sized acorn squash, cut into little pieces here. They're, I don't know, anywhere from an inch to maybe an inch and a half thick. You don't have to peel your acorn squash, especially if it's fresh, but you can if you want. I don't go through the effort because it's not really necessary when you roast it. I'm gonna put 1.5 tablespoons of oil into a little bowl here. You wanna use an oil that can go to a high temperature. The oven's preheated to 425. We're gonna go ahead and roast these at a relatively high temperature like that. So you don't want to use like an extra virgin olive oil or something with a low smoke point. You want to use something that can be heated up. I've got maple sugar going all over the place here. All right, to our oil, we're going to add a tablespoon of maple syrup. This is homemade maple syrup from the maple trees at my parents' farm. Obviously, any maple syrup that you have is good. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of salt. About a half a teaspoon of pepper. Half a teaspoon of thyme. I'm using dried thyme. If you're using fresh thyme, you can go ahead and use a full teaspoon. And then a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. And just give this a really quick mix here. And then we'll drizzle it over our sausage and squash. Just give this a quick toss. Get everything coated. Okay. Like I said, I've got the oven preheated to 425. I'm going to go ahead and put this in there for about 15 minutes. While our sausage and squash are baking, we're going to go ahead and get our kale ready here. This is washed and really well dried. If you don't get it dried, it's not going to get that little bit of crispy crunch at the end. That's kind of nice. When you go ahead and take it off the stem, go ahead and make it into about bite-sized pieces. We're going to drizzle this with a tablespoon more oil. And a pinch of salt. We're going to go ahead and massage this in and then let it sit while the sausage and squash finish cooking. That'll help it be a little bit more tender when you cook it. So I'll go ahead and just get this all coated in oil and salt and give it a nice little rub. If you think of it, you can kind of move it around every few minutes just to make sure that it all is really nice and coated. This was just one bunch of kale. It made probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 cups of torn kale. Doesn't have to be precise. All right, well, I'm gonna let this sit and wait for the sausage and squash to get done. Alright, so this has been in the oven for 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and just turn everything over so that it has a chance to cook nice and evenly. Well, that one doesn't want to go. I guess it can stay like that. That way both sides of the sausage have a chance to brown. The butternut squash will be cooked through nicely. Just gives everything an equal opportunity chance here. So we're going to go ahead and put this back in the oven for 10 more minutes. Get everything mostly cooked through, and then we'll add the kale on right at the end. And then we'll be ready to dig in. Looking and smelling good already. All right, now we're going to go ahead and sprinkle our kale over the top here. You don't have to be too particular with it. Just kind of get it a little bit spread out so it's got a chance to get good and crispy on the edges. And all right. And we're going to throw this back in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes. You just want to make sure that your butternut squash is kind of nice and tender. The sausage should be cooked through. You can go ahead and put a meat thermometer in one, and then there should be a little bit of crispy bits on the edge of the kale. So I can't wait to show you what it looks like when it's done. Look at that, guys. The sausages are nice and brown. You can just tell they're going to have that nice bite when you bite into them. And there's a little bit of browned edges on the kale. And the butternut squash is nice and tender. Now you can eat this just the way it is as a healthier fall supper. Otherwise, if you want to bulk it up a little bit, you can serve it over rice or pasta. You can chunk up the sausages and squash real quick and toss it in if you want. Otherwise, just serve it on top. I hope you enjoy this dinner, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.